Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're just taking a look at some gameplay that I recorded last night with my friend. This was the first time he'd ever played on the 1.0 update, so he wanted to unlock the new character and see the new area and the new boss that they added and experience all that. So we're just playing on Rainstorm with Command on. That way it's not as a walk in the park as Drizzle, but still easy enough to where it's pretty much a guaranteed win, as long as we're doing things correctly and being careful. Got my coffee today, and I'm just going to be commentating on what I'm doing, what I'm building, and why. And the video itself, the gameplay itself is about an hour long almost. So we'll be skipping through a lot of it to hopefully bring this video's time down to 30 minutes or so. I got a stopwatch running this time so I can actually pay attention to that. But yeah, we're just going to jump into it now. So far I just picked up a ukulele and a tri-tip dagger. I have the Walker engineering turrets, which if you haven't played the engineer, he has two types of turrets. You start out with turrets that can't move. They just stand still. And a lot of people love those turrets because you can get the bustling fungus item with them. And they will basically have infinite healing, and they can heal you, and they can't be moved, so it's always going to be there. But I went with the walking turrets because of the rework they did with Bleed. I wanted to see how effective it was with these drones because they attack really fast. And so I was hoping that they're able to proc Bleed pretty quickly, and they in fact were. So that's kind of my goal this game, is just to build as much on hit and bleed as possible with these drones. Of course, I always go with the disposal missile launcher. It's easy to use, there's never really a wrong time to use it, and it's really effective against just tearing down a bunch of enemies, especially when you have a lot of on hit stuff, which I definitely will late game. So let's just go ahead and skip through this early part. We'll try to watch all the boss fights. Okay, so here we go. Oh, yeah, it looks like we already killed the boss. Let's just see how effective that bleed was. So it looks like it was a Beetle Queen. Let's skip forward. Okay, yeah. So Beetle Queen spawns, instantly gets several stacks. Both of them get several stacks of bleed. Their health is just being torn down by the bleed. And it ended up being a Shrine of the Mountain even too. And so we get a bunch of free green items. Fantastic. So I go with the missile launcher. I can't talk enough greatness about the missile launcher. I think it does like 150% of your damage, maybe 200. It does like a pretty huge percent of your chance, and it stacks linearly and adds that to itself every time you get another one. And with these turrets, with their high attack speed, they proc that thing all the time. So I think I definitely got a few more of those before the end of the game. It's something I never really realized, or not something I never really built a whole lot of before, like a few days ago, but I've been building them a lot lately because of just how strong they are. And if you pair it with the two bands, I can't remember the name, like the fire band and the ice band, which now can only proc once every 10 seconds, but they do a ton of damage, and it's a guaranteed proc if you do 400% damage. So if you get 2 or 3 missiles and those bands, every time one of your missiles hits somebody, as long as the cooldown is off on those bands, it'll proc both of those bands on the enemy and the group of enemies right there, and just do a ridiculous amount of damage. So that's kind of something else I'm going for on top of bleed. So okay, yeah, here we're going for that shrine over there. Let's skip along to the next level. We'll just go straight to the boss fight and see what items we picked up, see how we're doing. Okay, it's a Wandering Vagrant. Let's back up a little bit here. Okay, here we go. Another Shrine of the Mountain, at least one. We do have the gold portal orb. We hit the gold shrine. Okay, yeah, it looks like I picked up. Sorry for the quality is so bad. I'm gonna try and figure out a way to fix that in the future. But for now, we're just gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, so I did pick up one of the fire rings. I got a chrono bauble. I got max bleed. I got the 7 tri-tip daggers for max bleed. I got another missile launcher. So we're doing a ton of bleed damage now. The only thing I'm really missing at this point, I have the damage. I mean, my damage is there. As you can see, my engineering turrets have low health, and they're not really healing too fast unless they're getting killed by a healing drone. So that's something I need to definitely work on. On Rainstorm, it's not as big of a deal because it's just not as hard. But on Monsoon, I mean, I can't stress enough how important it is for your, out of your first 5 items, I mean, at least 2 of them need to be healing-related items. Personally, if you're playing on Monsoon without Command, you don't really have much of a choice. But with Command, definitely make your first 2 items a first aid kit and a fresh meat. And that'll pretty much take care of all the healing you need for the first level or 2. And then as you start to build Critical Strike, you can start to stack scythes to increase your healing a lot, and you can maybe even get a couple of the seeds. What do you call those? The leeching seeds. They don't heal for very much, but you have high attack speed, and you get like 3 or 4 of them, and they can be okay. All right, so we beat that one. Let's keep moving along here. Let's see what our time is. I might be skipping forward a little too fast. Okay, we're already at 6.5 minutes. All right, let's keep going here. Oh yeah, so we go through the gold portal. I like these places because it kind of gives you a breather because the timer stops, so you know that out there in the real world, out there in the regular game, it's not getting any harder. So you can kind of take your time, killing the enemies, making sure you're collecting the 3 chests that spawn here. If you guys didn't know, there's always 3 chests, and they always spawn in the same spot. One spawns right there, as you can see. And then I will most likely show you where the other 2 are. I almost always get them. Also, if you haven't been here before, first of all, you get here by finding a gold shrine in one of the areas and activating it, and then it spawns a gold orb around the portal. That's how you know you have. It spawns a gold orb that circulates the teleporter, and when you complete the teleporter, the gold portal will spawn, and that's how you get here. And then you have to activate 7 of those obelisks, and I mean, as you can see, we're just shredding this guy down with the bleed and the missiles. And he drops a Halcyon seed for each player that's in the game. So in this case, it's 2. And each Halcyon seed you have increase. Well, basically, what they do is they spawn that guy we just fought. He spawns in every single teleporter event now, and will fight for us. And every Halcyon seed you have increases his damage and health, I think. So yeah, another chest was right there. I don't know if you guys saw me pick that up. Let me back up a few seconds. Yeah, so it's right. So there's the main area, and then it's right over here next to this pillar. Kind of nestled in the corner there, and it always spawns. Okay, and then you'll see I'll turn around. I don't have enough money for it, but I'm telling my friend there to follow me over. Because I don't think he knows where they are. He hasn't played in a long time. So, and there's one back over here between this, but right before that small island. It's right here next to those debris in the water there. So that's where those 3 chests. They're always going to be there. So if you're here, take the time to make enough money to buy them. Again, your timer is not running in this realm, so it's okay to take your time. And there we go. Yeah, as you can see, I finally got a first aid kit for my turrets. Hopefully they won't die as quickly, and same for myself. Here I actually had to go AFK for a second. So let's just skip through. John did a great job of protecting me. Alright, now we're on the roll. I like these adaptive chests because you can potentially get a legendary or red item out of them. I'm pretty sure I totally whiffed this one. Sometimes they don't spawn in there, but yeah, you can still get a white or green item out of it that are super expensive. So I'm looking for a red. I don't see one. So I just kind of guess. And okay, I do end up getting a white item. I thought maybe I got an equipment out of that one. And there you go. I got my fresh meat. So now we got my dynamic duo, the fresh meat, and the med kit. I got my healing taken care of, at least for now. Once it starts getting really hard and you can start risking getting one hit almost, then you can start building more teddy bears and just getting more health and shield generators. Let's see, what am I gonna get here? A crowbar. It's always good to get one crowbar, just extra damage on that initial hit. It's not as good on my laser turrets because they don't hit very hard. They just hit really fast. Now they hit hard because they have 4 missile launchers now doing 800% of their damage every time they proc it, which is pretty often. Plus, when they hit those bands, I have both the fire and the red and the ice band now. Yeah, I mean the missile launchers, they just do so much damage. If you have somebody that attacks fast, get the missile launchers. I mean, that's all I can say. Okay, getting another ukulele. Again, high attack speed. Ukuleles are always fantastic to make sure you're covering a lot of ground with your attacks. Let's skip along here. Get more items. Hit the teleporter. It's a magma worm. Again, bleed is fantastic for magma worms. And we don't kill them super quickly here, but it's not really a big deal either. Because with magma worms, you don't have a lot of opportunity. Okay, we do kill them pretty quickly, actually. But with magma worms, they dodge your attacks. They move really quickly, and they're underground a lot. So when you can apply bleed to them for that short period of time they're in the air, then when they go underground, they're still taking damage from you. So bleed's great for mega worms as well. And I just picked up Shatter Spleen, which is one of their new yellow items. So I already have a 100% chance to bleed, but now every time I critical strike, I'm going to apply an additional bleed stack. So once I get 100% critical strike, which right now I only have 30% chance because I only have 3 glasses, but once I get 100% critical strike, I am applying 1 bleed for my tri-tip dagger, 100% chance, and then another bleed for my critical strike, 100% chance. And in addition to that, bleeding enemies explode is also a part of that item. So now all my enemies are going to be exploding now, and once I get 100% critical strike, every single attack that me or my turrets hit on somebody now applies 2 stacks of bleed instead of just 1. So, I mean, if that's not OP, I really don't know what is. But let's move along here. That was a great drop. They dropped yellow items for us because the Shatter Spleen is just fantastic. You can see I'm killing the eggs here. For those of you who don't know, on this map called Siren's Call, there's these nests with eggs in them. And when you break the eggs enough times, you'll get a message in the chat that says you're getting close. But basically, when you kill enough eggs, it'll spawn a boss. And if you kill that boss, then he'll drop a red item for every single player in the game. So there has not been a game, I would rather just lose right then and there than not do the boss fight. I always go for it because of just how much of an edge a red item gives you, especially if every single person in your game gets one. So we're definitely going to be going for that here. So let me skip ahead a little bit. So yeah, I'm just kind of hitting chests, getting items while I'm looking for eggs. There's some eggs to my left there. Let's see if I hit them. Yep. Okay, yeah, so now you see the message in chat. You hear a distant whirring or wearing. Another active chest. Yeah, this is the one I get in equipment. Totally screw it up. But that's okay. It happens. I think I freaked out. I saw orange, thought it was a red item, which happens all the time. And yeah, it's okay. So here I see eggs. I'm just kind of waiting for me to get this last chest. That way I can get more critical strike, I think, is the reason. Before we just jump into this. Yeah, here take probably a lot of damage. Oh no, I have a hoppy feather. Okay, good. Yep, so now I have 90% chance of critical striking, which means I'm just applying a ton of bleed to people. So now I'll probably hit that egg, and we'll get the show on the road. So hit the egg, the whirring grows louder, and the alloy worship unit spawns. Now, our turrets have a pretty small range, so I put them really close to them. That way they are definitely going to hit them. And I mean, they just, look at that, already at 100 stacks of bleed. Already at 200 stacks of bleed. I mean, come on. 50 stacks of bleed. I mean, just, that's a really hard boss typically, but I mean, when you're applying basically 2 stacks of bleed every single hit, I mean, come on. And then I get ceremonial daggers, which means every time I kill an enemy, it spawns 3 daggers that then go and seek another enemy. And they do like 150% of your damage, plus they apply they have a chance of applying all your on-hit stuff. So each one's going to apply 2 stacks of bleed, since I basically have 100% crit now. Each one's going to proc the chronobauble, the ukuleles, everything, and potentially kill more enemies, which then create more knives. And it just creates this huge effect of I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It just creates this huge what's the word I'm looking for? Man, I can't think of it for some reason. It's too early in the morning for me. But it just starts cascading into this waterfall effect where it just kills every enemy on the map. You just have to have a ton of on-hit stuff for that to happen with the daggers. But in this case I do, so it works out pretty well for us. So let's move along. Let's see what kind of time we're at here. Okay, 17 minutes. We're not doing bad. We're over halfway through, so let's keep moving along here. So the boss fight is magma worms again. Not an issue. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them spawned for this one. And as you can see, it's just not a problem for us to take care of. We haven't killed one yet because it's like across the map right now, but here it comes. And as soon as it shows up, we just start obliterating it, and there it goes. Ooh, and we get more yellow items, so I'll get the beak probably, and then I don't know what other item I would get, or I might give it to John. That's my friend's name. Yeah. So okay, then John got shatter spleen, so we have even more bleed now. Hopefully, I get the gnarl. That would be the best option for me. It's really not worth stacking any of the items, in my opinion, unless you have, except for the gnarl. The gnarl is definitely worth stacking. It's really OP. It gives you a lot of regeneration and extra health, so it's pretty good. But the molten perforator, which is that beak-looking thing I got, what that is it's supposed to mimic what the magma worms do when they come out of the ground, or maybe go into the ground. They shoot out like a bunch of fireballs that can light you on fire. It basically does that effect where it shoots a bunch of fireballs out when you hit enemies, or every once in a while when you hit enemies, it's an on-hit chance. So once again, more on-hit items. So when you hit enemies, they have a chance of throwing out fireballs that damage themselves and enemies around them and lighting everybody on fire. So it's fantastic. So here we are in the final stage of the game, unless you choose to loop back around. Now, if you didn't watch my previous video, so what they added in the new 1.0 update is this new primordial teleporter that when you hit it, will take you to the boss area where you run through this little walkway and then get to the boss fight area, and that's where you fight the boss and beat the game. However, I didn't know this in my last when I was here last in my first video. I think it was when I was unlocking the captain, but you can actually activate the fins on the teleporter to align them with the planet and that allows you to loop back around. Because before, I think my one complaint with the update was there's like no really easy way to loop back around and go for another round. But now I didn't realize that you actually could activate the fins to align them with the planet of the teleporter, and then hit the teleporter, and it'll take you just through the regular game, back to the ground zero and all that. So there's a little tip for you. But here we're just trying to beat the game for John, so we're just gonna hit it regular and go to the moon. Okay. So we're just getting as many items as we can at this point. I'm already pretty OP. So there's not really any need for items. I think at this point I'm just getting movement speed because I know that the boss area requires just a ton of movement speed and hoppy feathers to get through it effectively. So that's pretty much all I'll be getting this time, for the most part. Out of coffee, but good thing we're just about done here. So let's skip forward a little bit. Here's another gold shrine where I don't think we're going to hit it because there's really no reason to, because we're not going there again. But that's what I thought the only way to loop back through was, though, before, was to like find a gold shrine, find a new altar, which is actually this one right there, to spawn a gold orb, or to spawn a blue orb or a gold orb. That way you can take the blue or gold portal to that respective location, and then loop back around that way. Or you can use the artifact portal to go unlock an artifact, or play through an artifact that you already have, and loop back through that way. But there was no like easy way to do it through the teleporter, but now there is. I discovered that there was. All right, let's keep moving here. I think we're about to activate the teleporter. Yep. Again, I think we got magma worms like 3 times in a row. It was kind of annoying because they're just all over the place and hard to hit, and they turn your screen yellow and light you on fire. But whatever, we took care of them. So we get more yellow items, which is fantastic. I think I just go with the gnarls here. Yeah, see, I have 3 gnarls now. I also ended up finding a red item, looks like, so I got a Shadowing Justice red item recently, so cool. So now we activate the teleporter, and we're off, and we're here at the moon. Now John's the archer, so naturally he's going to have crazy movement, because he can dash like 3 times every, 4 seconds. But I have, 9 goat hoofs and 2 hoppy feathers, so I'm able to stay ahead of him, or keep up with him, really. He's like right behind me. Yeah. So moving along here, I think one of us actually almost dies. I think it's John. I think I might almost die too, but yeah, those air units right there, they really do a number on us here in a second. So we kill that guy pretty quickly, and then these air units start shooting John, I think, and he just basically, they're shooting at me first. I'm able to dodge it. Yeah, and then John gets down to 2% health. That would have sucked if he died right there. But I think he ends up surviving. We kill these guys, and then we keep moving along. Let's just skip through to the boss fight, because I want to be able to watch that whole thing. Oh yeah, so under the boss arena, let's see if I can get a better view on this thing. Yeah, so here's the final boss arena where you jump up and go to the boss. But under the arena, there's a little hidden area over there that one of my other friends discovered. So I'm telling John if he goes over there, he can get the logbook for this area. So if you're interested in unlockables and getting lore and stuff like that, you can head over there right into the center and get that logbook. And then he basically just jumps off and then gets respawned back up here. And now let's see what time we're at here. 24 minutes. Okay, so we have time to watch. Yeah, we have time to watch the rest of the video, I think, without any interruptions, at least the full boss fight. I think it goes pretty quickly because my turrets are just so OP. This is the first time, I think, that I've played the engineer, or played this engineer with these types of turrets against the boss fight. But yeah, they're just applying it. Tons of bleed, they each have their own individual ring or their own individual band cooldowns, so they're doing a ton of damage that way. I mean, they're just absolutely destroying this guy. And then, of course, John's also applying his bleed and his death mark and doing plenty of damage himself. So we take him out pretty quickly, the first health bar. And then he spawns his minions. So we got these guys to deal with. And so I start taking them out. My turrets start working on them. Launch my missiles at them. We basically destroy them pretty quickly. Not that much of an issue here. And then the last guy is right here. Boom, done. Then he comes back in, and I think he actually kills John here. Or here in a second. My turrets aren't helping yet. I don't know where they are. They're over here with me. Yep. Yes, right there. I mean, look how much damage that thing does. So he jumps up, and then he lands and shoots that shockwave. Boom. Insta kills John. So make sure that you're dodging that when he comes down. And that's another reason why I like to have, a couple of Hapu feathers at least when I come here. I mean, really at least one is enough, but a couple is even better when you come here. Not only just to get here faster and to escape faster, but during the boss fight, it's just easier. It's a lot easier to dodge his attacks and to avoid that shockwave he shoots out. Yeah. So now he's killing me. So here I notice my turrets are on cooldown. In a second, he's going to take all my items, and I know I have to deal as much damage as possible to him. So I'm purposefully not going to place down any turrets to help finish him off. That way I have both my turrets ready, because it's like 22 seconds per turret cooldown, which is totally fair. But I need to save both of those charges for this next part of the boss fight, so that I can do as much damage as possible to him. So I'm saving my turrets for that. I think I'm going to save my missiles as well, and my mines. But I am able to kill him. Yeah, he starts to spawn a few more people to help him out. But yeah, I mean, I have enough on-hit stuff that I'm able to take him out. He spawns, so I throw the mines down. I put my turrets down, and then when he starts taking my items, I start attacking him, and boom. I mean, I don't think I've ever killed him that fast before. Man. So that's how weak he is. First of all, that third health bar, he's actually really weak. He just takes all your items back to get stronger, and then you no longer have items as well. I get totally turned around here, too. I don't know which way to go. I finally figure it out. Yeah, that way. Good job. So now I'm leaving, and the Void Reavers start to spawn. And we are out of here. So let's just skip ahead. This is just me running through. Nothing too exciting happens during this part. You just basically need to get to the escape ship as fast as possible. Now, I was playing, like the first run through I did, which you guys saw, I was playing as Rex. I don't think I had any movement speed helping items. If I did, maybe like one red whip, maybe. And I was still able to get there on time. I was really close, but I was able to get there on time. So you don't need, 9 hoofs and 2 Hapu feathers to get through this. It's just nice. It makes it easy. I get there in plenty of time. So there we go. I escape. The moon starts to explode. Little cutscene. They do such a great job with the visuals in this game. And again, I'm sorry for the quality of this recording. I don't know why it's so bad. I'm going to try to fix that in the future. Maybe once I render it out, it won't be as bad as I think, but who knows. And so he left, more steel and circuit than man. So I have seen, like I said before, each message is different for each character, and I have seen that one before, so I definitely have beat the game with the engineer, but I think I died, and one of my friends was able to complete it at the end there, just like I did for John, basically. So yeah, there is another playthrough. Let's pause it here for a second. Another playthrough on Rainstorm with the engineer with the little walkie turrets. They're fantastic. As you can see, basically every single one of my items is geared towards just doing more damage with on hit. You know, ukuleles, bleed, missiles, exploding enemies on death, slowing the enemies, you know, critical striking the enemies. Both the bands to do, you know, 800% damage, you know, with both of them proccing. Then I got a little bit of healing just to make sure I wasn't going to die instantly. You know, got a crowbar, some hooves, and feathers to make sure I was able to move around in the boss fight more easily. I got the Shatter Spleen yellow item to make sure that I'm able to proc 2 times the bleed every attack. Ceremonial Dagger to just help, you know, bring down all the extra enemies and able to proc more on hit stuff. And then got 5 teddy bears just to help making sure that I'm blocking, you know, enough attacks to keep me healthy, as well as 3 gnarls to make sure I got some good regeneration as well. And then I got the beak yellow item. I always forget what it's called. To shoot fireballs out of enemies on hit. And then let's see, I got the Predator Mask there, which on critical strikes increases your attack speed up to 3 times. And that actually gives you 5% crit chance. And then the Scythe, which heals you on crit, gives you 5% crit chance. They don't stack the crit chance, but as long as you have at least one, it'll give you 5%. So that's 5, 10% there, and then 90% with the glasses, so that's 100% crit chance. And then I got soda can, because why not? Or it's more speed, I guess. And then I just kind of realized this at the last second, at the last stage, but the crystal, which does more damage to enemies that are closer to you, is actually probably pretty good on my walkie turrets because they have a pretty short range anyway. So most of the enemies are really close to them. Gasoline, again, help weed out enemies by just making them explode into fire, lighting other people on fire. And then the hammer to help tear down the armor of any enemies. That's my build for the engineer with the walker turrets. Again, on Monsoon, I would have a lot more focus on just surviving, just getting more health and healing items to make sure that I'm able to survive long enough to do the damage. I mean, honestly, with 7 tri-tip daggers alone, the damage is there. So at that point, you really just need to survive. Everything else is just kind of insult to injury as far as damage goes. But that's all I have for today. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I will hopefully have a guide to the Huntress. I'm going to try to work through every single guide of all the people, at least the ones that I know that I'm okay at, that I'm good at. Basically everybody besides the melee characters, I'll have a guide out for. And then in between each guide release, I'll have a gameplay video or a prismatic trial video or a monsoon run for you guys. Okay, that's all I have for today. If you guys want to see me stream these, so you guys can see them live and you can see my live commentary on them, let me know, and I'll definitely see if I can get that working for you guys. That's all I have for today. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all those things that everyone tells you to do, and hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you tomorrow.